Hi all. Um, Another video. This time we're going to be talking about the new Git 2 based rigs from the new what I'm calling the ProRes. Differentiating between the standard Xiaomi range that I did, which was the entry level, getting to doing 4K output. Now, don't confuse 4K output as the camera output. I mean, when you're doing when you output a 360 video, it's the actual size of that video. We're talking about that as 4K. And I must apologise. I've got a problem with my mic. I'm gonna have to get a new one, but it's starting to make some noises part of the way through. I've noticed that in the last one, so apologies for that. Right, so let's get on with this. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk you through the Duet, okay, which is this one, okay. This is the Duet rig, as you can see on the picture. It's got its little plastic caps on here. That's what comes with it. We keep them on. Where's the original Xiaomi range? We was allowing you to build your own. With this range, and you can still do that. You can still get the Xiaomis. And the Xiaomis are still, to my humble opinion, are still absolutely brilliant. If you want good 4K 360 output, you get great results. You don't need to well, actually, this is a different case scenario, to be fair. But you don't need to bother with the new higher resolution. This is for people who need to push the resolution higher. Okay, and it's an escalating thing. This will over time get higher and higher. But the problem we always, let me just get back to the Duet. The problem we always had was to do a 2-camera rig, which is, to me, has always been kind of the holy grail, because you don't want six cameras. Yes, it's doable, and it's, you need, if you're up to the job, then 6 cameras is fine, but it's complicated workflow. Whereas little 2 cameras actually really good. Now I'll give an example. If you just want nice videos you can share with your friends, don't bother with this. Go and get the Ricoh Theta, or maybe even the Samsung Gear VR. I mean, I'm going to cut my own throat here. So not the Gear VR. The Ricoh Theta is a fantastic little device, but the resolution is not particularly high. It's like a 1080p resolution. It's about 2K, in other words. But it does good results, and it's just a nice little device. You can click and record, and away you go. The Gear 360 from Samsung. Now, I haven't played with one, but they look very good, and they give 4K. Now, I don't know the output quality, and I've heard it doesn't work with other software and so on. I do not know. But especially for consumers who just want to point and click and go, that's going to be your answer. However, there are others where they need they need control, they want the separate files, and there's a lot more to it. So that's where the Brahma Duet comes in. Okay, now this is, a lot of people are experimenting with 2-camera systems. Now, if you notice, in fact, let me see if I can show you this on the other camera. Oh, nice picture of my hand there. Right, must watch the screen when I'm doing this. Can you see? Let me just see if I can. I'm actually pointing at the. There you go. Can you see that lens? Okay, now that's what's called as a 220-degree lens. Okay, and you see it wraps right round and actually sees behind itself, kind of thing. And that's how we can get. So we've got 2 cameras. Let's flip that. 2 cameras with 2 of these 220 lenses, and they create a fisheye image. Okay, let me put this back to the other way. Hang on, it's actually quite tricky doing that. Yeah, okay, right. So we've got this camera. We've got 2 cameras, and it's in a holder, and you can see it comes with the mount. Okay, the little mount on here. That's for just screwing on top of your camera holder, and it's at top and bottom, and you can hang it from a drone. Right, you can do all kinds of things, and it's just 2 separate cameras, and they're lovely little cameras, and as I said, they technically, well, by the resolution of the output is a 4K resolution, but it's not quite true. It's actually slightly upscaled from a 4K Sony sensor. So but it's one of these really weird things, because the output I get is over 4K, which I scale down, but the actual sensors are slightly under 4K. I showed this in the introduction to the range video. I'm not going to go over it again, but just to be aware. There will be a version of this for the new Xiaomi Yi 2s that are coming, which have a proper true 4K sensor. And for those that want to wait for that, fine, okay. However, I think you need to see the results of these, and it's going to be probably 50% more expensive, if not twice as much, because the cameras are looking twice the price at the moment. So I think this is a fantastic, personally, I think it's a fantastic little 4K output device, because as I'm saying, whilst the sensor is slightly under 4K, it's for the camera, and it's slightly upscaled to make it look like it's 4K, which is kind of cheating, but you know, it's you know, bear with it. It records over 4K, and then I scale it down, so it's a little bit of swings and roundabouts, but the reality is it's probably 10% shy, 5 to 10% shy of 4K. But the output, I mean, just, you know, you've got to go by the output. Let me give you an example of the output 4K rig. So this, hang on a second, let's switch. Right. So this is the first video I released. Let's turn it
Fix the firmware.
Right.
Last video
Now, if I open this full screen, now ignore the fact that it's shaking. In fact, let me turn sound, because if I remember rightly, I had problems with sound. Right, if I pause this, because my GPU is recording everything and playing it back and so on. So if I turn this around, now you need to go to YouTube and actually have a look at this yourself. But the output of this thing is actually pretty damn. Don't want that. It's actually pretty damn good. It is around 4K, and I think it's great. I mean, I really do. So, but you make your own mind up, okay? But again, it's, you know, people have to decide what they want to do. I put lots of video clips up so people can see. I think this is fantastic for the money. It's absolutely brilliant for the money. But so there's a clip. Let me now. What I want to do is I actually want to show you. As far as how is it going to come? Let me just show you this, because you may not have seen the other video. It's going to come in a box. It was quite a big bag, but most people tend to carry an awful lot of stuff with it. But you've got pockets inside of it, and you can separate them out. So you just drop it in, so that it will kind of disappear into the bottom. I was considering this bag, okay, and I may have a few in if people actually want the tiny little bag and if they request it. But I do think you're better off with the big bag. Because you can carry everything in it, so that's what it's going to come as default. But anyway, what I want to do now is I want to show you what you can do with this software. With this camera rig. I'll tell you what. I'll just quickly show you another video that I did. This was strapped to my car. Yes. Should we watch the advert, shall we? Okay, right. So this is strapped to my car, okay, and let's blow this up full screen. So if you go to YouTube, the links will be provided. I'm going to wank this up. It's running at 1440, but let's get it up to 2160. Oh, you didn't see that, did you? But anyway, it's running at. This is actually running at 4K on YouTube. But of course, it's running very, very slow, and that's because, as I said before, my GPU is recording everything it's seeing, so it's going to kind of struggle. But as you can see, now this is recorded with the Duet, as you can see, it says at the top, and I think the output, to be honest, and the colour reproduction is absolutely fantastic, and I'm very, very pleased with it. So as you can see that, I mean, it's just lovely colour. Now, but this is this makes a great 2-camera 4K rig, okay, and I think it's really nice. But you know, judge it for yourself. I mean, there's a lot of people ordering them, and I haven't shipped any yet. I wanted to, before I shipped them, I wanted people to see the truth thing about this whole Sony sensor thing, which I only found out a few days ago. But I still think this is a great device, and yes, you'll be able to. You can build one of these with a GoPro and an N10i, and I think it's about £1,200 or something. The Sony, I'll be doing one with the Sonys. the new U2s. I think they're going to go up by another £200 on top of the price. This might be more. It could be end up being. I'm selling these at £429. I think the U2 ones, if the pricing remains the same, the U2 ones are probably about 700 quid for this. So, you know, £400 for this, I think is fantastic, and that would only be a 10% resolution bump. I mean, trust me. Anyway, so there you go. So I think that's actually fantastic. But what I want to do now is I want to show you the actually using software. So you've got your camera, you got your packet. Oh, it's by a company. This company here called Viofo. If ever you want to have a look at their site, they make these. I mean, they're lovely cameras, and I really like the cameras, and they've been very good. And hoping they're going to come back with some changes to the firmware, because you probably know we have software for the Xiaomi, but we don't at the, well, the software at the moment doesn't work with the Git 2, mainly because it hasn't got the interface and the bits that we need doing. They are working on it, and they did did some firmware changes for us recently, which made this whole thing possible. But at the moment, it's a manual rig. Okay, it's very important to understand. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you can press 2 buttons. Okay, so I don't see it's a big problem. Right, so that's that. But what I want to show you now is I've got a bit of sample video. I'm just going to quickly show you and how this works. So I'm using Autopano Pro from AV Pro, so Autopano Video Pro from color.com. It's a very expensive piece of software. It costs more than the rig, okay, but it is a fantastic piece of software, and it allows you to have professional control over this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I've already got some of these videos, so let me just go and grab a couple of samples. Here we go. Right, so we've got 2 videos in here, and I'm just going to grab these 2 videos which were captured and pop them in onto the desk. Anyway, I'll chat while it's working. Right, now you normally would do the sync, go for the sync, you know, have a clap, and then you know, to be fair with these, I mean, most people can press the 2 buttons at the same time. And the other thing is these can come with, I haven't decided if I'm going to put them in the bag. That's a good point, actually. They come with a remote control. I don't think the remote control is actually needed for these, because you can literally just go up and press 2 buttons and start it. But there is these little, they're like little, but there's one each. Okay, so I may well have them as an option. Right, so anyway, we've got these 2 videos, so you can do the sync. That's the syncing business, okay, but you press them at the same time, shouldn't be an issue. Right, so what we want to do is we want to do stitch. So I'm going to stitch these. Now you need to, as long as you've got this version, which is 2.3.2, okay, there's a mode in it, the Entenaya 220, okay. You want the Entenaya because it actually stitches correctly. It's just the right, and this is a 220 lens as well. So if you press stitch, I just want to show you how simple this is. Actually, what I should have done actually is change my select into a different position, because this might not actually stitch as nicely. So what I might do is I might actually change that. Yeah, let's go back to, let's do it from 16 seconds. Right, so ignore that. So we're in a different position now. Let's try stitching that again, because I had my hand all over it and different all over the place. Right, now you can see do you see that it's actually done that? So you pick a different part. Right, and then all you do is you just move this around until you get the position in that you want. Hopefully you can see all this. And you see, I mean, it's literally as simple as this. Now, the 2 camera stitching, I mean, it's never perfect, okay? But you can see, because I put my hand right, I've got my hand right round it, okay? And this is actually this is a really difficult one because it's in the car, and you can see the results. I think I actually might have just shown you this actually. But I can show you the results of this. So I'm not actually gonna stitch this because I'm using the software to run the video production here, which you're looking at. The GPU gets really bogged down, and the color software crashes everything. So when it actually starts processing, so I'm not gonna do that. But I'll show. But you can see it in here. If I double click on this, so you can see that. Yeah, so it's actually not done a bad job. Actually, you can see a little bit of stitching here where it's joined. Now, bear in mind, I just drop these straight in. I don't do any mucking about. There's no, I don't get time. I haven't got time for this. And I leave that to the pros and the people who are actually using the software properly and who are selling the output to do this. But you can see pretty much straight away you get some good output. Now, as I mentioned in this video, I could have done with a bit of lighting, to be fair, and it was a bit cloudy and dark. So But yeah, so that's it, and then you apply it and you do your settings. Now, if I go to the, this is the interesting thing you want to know. Click on render. Now, can you see that size, right? So basically, I have a width. What it's saying there is the resolution it's got when it's stitched. It's got 4,244 pixels by 2,192. Now, if I select MP4, sorry, if I select the UHD TV mode, it's about 10%, about 10%, 5 to 10% above the, well, in fact, the width is a lot higher. So if you remember, I was saying about the sensor being lower, and yeah, it's given us, so the sensor was about 15%, roughly 15%, 15 to 20% lower than 4K. Well, this is about 15% higher than 4K. Do you see how many kind of balances out? It's around 4K, the output. And it gives me a really nice output, so hence me being really pleased with this. Now, what I did is I upped the video bitrate to 36, something like that, kilobits, 36,000 kilobits per second. And that gave me a really nice output. So that's that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up another project. If I close this down, what I'll do is I'll show you the output from this. God, here we go. It's in here, isn't it? Right. This is the output.
This is just a test.
Turn me off.
Someone's asked me.
Right, okay. So this is the output from this, okay? Which, I mean, again, it's 4K, so I'm squishing this down into like a 1700. So, but you can see the output's pretty good. I think it gives a pretty good, and the pros out there will create much better video quality. Okay, simple way of doing that is have lighting, right? But I'm very pleased with that. And as you can see my hand came up. So you can see where it goes around behind, and colour actually removes part of my hand, so that's obviously part of that. Anyway, there you go. Right, so okay, so sorry if that was a bit glitchy on the last bit. I made a change in it, which I would decide to remove. But anyway, so there's an example of how the software works. If you want to go to, it's Brahma360.com. If you go to home, and then there's go into well, there's a highlighted store at the moment is this one, but just search for it under products. In fact, if you go to products, you can see the products, they're all listed there, all the 3 products. But if you go to the next one where it says Brahma chart, I'll probably have this at the top of the page because the website's being changed at the moment. And this shows you, obviously, this shows you the differences between the products. The one we're looking at is obviously the Brahma Duet Git 2, and you can see I've tried to list all the questions that people would have, the potential, okay, of what it can do, and it give you an example of what you want. Now, I do think for the money, this is a fantastic little rig, and the potential is enormous. The great thing is you can take one of the cameras out, use it separately. I was going to include a video about using it with a gimbal. I might do that as a separate video, but hang this underneath a drone. It weighs, just so you know, it weighs approximately 200 to 250 grams complete. I think it's 250 grams, that whole thing. So you can bolt that underneath a drone, and it would work really nicely. And of course, you've then got the remote. If you do buy them separately, the controllers. Well, there's 2 separate controllers, one each. They come on the site. But anyway, so that's that. Hopefully that's given you some information. You've seen how easy it is to stitch. Any more questions, do come back and ask us. And if you want to, I will put an order page up at some point. But any more you need to know, then just get in touch with us. Thanks very much, and speak to you soon.